In the heart of a vast and vibrant land, nestled between rolling hills and golden fields, there was a small village called Ile-Ogo, known for its rich traditions and timeless wisdom. The people of Ile-Ogo valued strength, not just the kind found in muscles and speed, but the strength of the heart, mind, and spirit. Every 5 years, the village held the Warriors Challenge, a contest designed to test the courage, endurance, and wisdom of its young men. The prize was not gold or riches, but something far greater: honor, respect, and the chance to inspire generations to come. Among the hopeful contestants was a young man named Okon. Unlike others who boasted of their physical power, Okon was quiet and thoughtful. He did not carry the broad shoulders of a warrior or the fierce eyes of a hunter, but within his heart burned a steady flame, a desire to prove that true strength came from within. The day of the challenge arrived. The sun rose like a giant golden drum in the sky, beating down on the eager faces of the contestants. The elders gathered, their wise eyes watching as the village chief raised his hand and announced the start of the competition. Okon set out on their first trial, a journey through dense forests, over rocky paths, and across rivers that roared like angry spirits. Many contestants raced ahead, their hearts filled with pride and determination to be the first. But Okon walked with steady steps, his eyes observing, his heart listening. Along the way, he met obstacles that tested more than his strength: a young boy trapped under a fallen tree, a tired traveler struggling to carry water to his family. Others passed by, too focused on winning to stop. But Okon paused, helping where he could, even though it slowed him down. Days passed, the forest grew darker, the paths more treacherous. Hunger gnawed at Okon's belly, and exhaustion pulled at his legs. But he remembered his mother's words: true strength is not how fast you run, Okon, but how steady your heart remains when the journey is long. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Okon stood at the edge of the final stretch. His body was tired, but his spirit remained unbroken. He had not rushed, nor had he sought to outdo others. Instead, he had walked his path with purpose, kindness, and resilience. But the challenge was not over yet. The true test of Okon's strength was still to come. Will Okon's quiet strength carry him to victory, or will the weight of the journey be too much to bear? Let's see. The morning sun stretched its golden fingers across the land, casting long shadows over the final stretch of the warrior's challenge. Okon stood tall, though his body was weary from days of walking, helping and enduring the trials of the wilderness. His heart beat with quiet determination, not for glory, but for something greater: to prove that true strength comes from within. Ahead of him lay the last challenge, a towering cliff known as Oju-Orun, the eye of the sky. The task was simple, yet daunting: to climb it without ropes, relying solely on courage, skill, and willpower. The cliff's jagged edges had humbled many before him, some of whom had turned back in fear. their hearts not strong enough to face the climb. Okon approached the cliff, his fingers brushing the cold, rough surface. He took a deep breath, recalling the words of an elder he'd helped along his journey. The mountain may seem high, but it cannot measure the depth of your spirit. As he began his ascent, the wind whispered like an ancient spirit, testing his resolve. His muscles trembled with exhaustion. His fingers raw from gripping sharp rocks. Halfway up, a sudden gust knocked him against the cliffside. His heart raced. Below, the ground seemed distant, unforgiving. Doubt crept in like a shadow. What if I fall? But then Okon remembered the faces of those he'd helped, the boy he freed from the fallen tree, the traveler whose load he had carried. Their gratitude had been light in the darkness of his journey. He realized something profound. His strength wasn't just his own, it was the courage, kindness, and hope he'd shared with others. With renewed determination, Okon pressed on. Every grip, every foothold became a testament to his resilience. Finally, as the sun crowned the sky, casting its warm light upon the peak, Okon pulled himself over the edge. He had made it. Not the fastest, not the strongest, but with a heart that had never wavered. When he returned to Ile-Ogo, the villagers gathered, expecting tales of battles won and obstacles conquered. But Okon spoke simply. I faced many challenges, but none greater than the voice inside me that said I couldn't. I listened to the voice that said I could. The elders, moved by his words, declared him the true victor, not because he was the first to finish, but because he embodied the very spirit of the warrior's challenge, strength of heart, kindness in action, and courage in the face of fear. From that day on, Okon's story was told across generations, not as the tale of the strongest warrior, but as the legend of the young man who showed that the greatest strength is found not in the body, but in the heart. And so Okon's name lived on, not as the mightiest warrior with the sharpest spear or the fastest feet, but as the young man whose strength came from the kindness he showed, the courage he carried, and the resilience he nurtured deep within his heart. His story traveled beyond Ile-Ogo, carried by the winds and whispered by storytellers under the moonlight. Children gathered around fires to hear of the boy who climbed Oju-Orun, not with pride, but with humility. Elders spoke of him as a reminder that true strength is not always loud and fierce. It can be quiet, gentle, and unwavering. In time, the warrior's challenge changed. No longer was it just a test of who could run the fastest or climb the highest. It became a journey of character, where helping others, showing kindness, and facing one's fears were honored as the greatest victories. Okon grew older, his hair touched with silver, but his spirit remained as strong as ever. He often sat beneath the great baobab tree, sharing his tale with wide-eyed children. When they asked him, "Grandfather, were you afraid when you climbed the cliff?" he would smile softly and reply, "Yes, I was afraid." But courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing what is right, even when you are afraid. And with that simple wisdom, Okon's story continued to inspire hearts, teaching that the greatest warriors are not those who conquer others, but those who conquer themselves.